Today I'm going to be showing you how to do my Harlem MC Hammer style pants. Or actually, technically I call them puffy pants because that's how they look to me. They look very puffy. So first step, after we have our pieces cut out, I folded the fabric and cut out two. That's for one leg. I did the same, cut out two for the other leg. I cut out the strip for the waist, and then I cut out the two smaller pieces for the cuffs. So the first thing we're going to do is put away the cuffs and the waistband. We're going to take the pants, and we are going to only use one layer. So we're going to take one layer, lay it down, and then we're going to take the opposite layer, lay it down, and we're going to, you can pin it if you want, we're going to serge this small section right here. We're also going to do the same to the other side, so I'm going to go ahead and get that side prepared as well. You want right sides facing each other or touching each other, so it basically looks like the pants are inside out. Okay, and we're going to serge this area right here. Now let me go serge this real quick and I'll be right back. Okay, so I serged both those small sections that I had mentioned earlier. Okay, next step is we're going to open up one of the pieces that you serged together, and then you're going to open up the other one, put them right sides facing once again. Line up all of the pieces. Okay. Now when you get everything lined up, you're going to serge or sew in 3 different places. You're going to sew along this side. So the side, each side of the pant is going to be sewn or serged. And you're also going to serge the inner seam section. So as soon as we get those, then we'll have the baseline of the pants made, and then we'll be able to add the waistband and the leg cuffs. So when you're done, you should have a piece that looks similar to this. Both sides are done. The inner piece is done, but the inner seam is done. And now what we're going to do, you can kind of see they're starting to turn into kind of looking pants. So we're going to turn that right side in. We're going to prepare to sew on the waist cuff and the 2 leg cuffs. I'm going to set that to the side for a moment. The waist cuff, I'm going to take I'm going to put the 2 short ends together. The short ends I'm going to serge. So I'm going to serge this whole line right here. And for the waist, or for the leg cuffs, I'm going to take, and the same thing, the short ends put together, I'm going to serge this line, and same for the other. Okay, and soon as I get those serged, I'll come back and show you what the next step is. So I have the waist cuff finished, and I have the 2 leg cuffs finished. The waist cuff, I folded it up to where the raw edge, both of the raw edges are up at the top, and has the right side on the outside of the fabric. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bunch this up just a tad. Now this is the waist. I'm going to bunch this up just a little, and I'm going to feed this through the waist. Now I'm going to get these 2 seams even, and then I'm going to find the seam for the pants, and I'm going to line them up and pin them together. Okay. Now maybe it's just me, but these little extra strings drive me nuts. So I'm going to clip them. Okay, now it's going to seem like this is not all going to fit together because you're going to have so much pant and so little waist cuff. But it will, because this material is going to be stretched out a lot. This material is not going to be stretched at all. This material is going to be stretched to the max to get around the entire waist of the pant. So it will fit. Okay. Now, the next step I'm going to do is I'm going to take my waistband and I'm going to find the middle point on the opposite end. So here's the middle point on this end. Here's the middle point on this end. This end I'm going to line up with my other seam. Right there. Okay. So now I know when I start serging that I'm going to have to stretch just this half to fit this part of the pant, and vice versa. I'm just going to have to stretch this half to fit this half. So when it's completely serged around, it's going to be even on both sides, and I won't have it won't be cattywampus. Basically, we want it to be even on both sides. I've gotten a little overconfident several times before, and I started just serging without even pinning at all. I had one seam point, and I just kept serging, and I thought, well, I could just figure it out. And I got all the way around, and I either had too much at the end, and there was no way, basically stopped right here, and I had this much material to stretch over this much fabric, and it was just not going to happen. Or I got done, and I stretched it enough, but then there was a whole bunch of fabric gathered up right here, none gathered up right here, whole bunch gathered up right here, none gathered. It looked uneven all the way around. So we want to make sure that when we stretch the fabric, we pin enough to where we're comfortable, where we know that it's going to be an even stretch all the way around the waistband. Now, with that being said, we're going to do the exact same thing with the leg cuffs. When we attach these, we want to do the same thing with the waistband. It's just a smaller section. Now, my personal preference is to take the seams of the leg cuffs, and I'm going to align it with the inner seam of the pant. So I like my seams to be all lined up on the inside. Some people like to line them up in the middle of the back. That's perfectly fine. Whatever you prefer, it's all going to work exactly the same. So figure out what your preference is. Let's see. I'm going to this in. Okay. Scoot over just a tad so y'all can see what I'm doing. Okay. Cut off that annoying little thread. They always get in my way. Okay. I have the two seams of the leg cuff lined up with the one seam of the pants, the inner seam of the pants. And you can find the middle point of the cuffs before you attach them. If that's easier, I just usually forget, so I have no problem just figuring out as soon as it's attached where the opposite middle point is. Let's see. Luckily the pants have seams on both sides, so I pretty much know exactly where to pin on that side as well. Okay. Now that that's done, I'm going to do the exact same thing to this leg cuff, and then I'm going to serge around the top of the waistband, both leg cuffs. I'll come back and we will basically be done minus a few steps. Alrighty, I have the waist cuff attached and I have the two leg cuffs attached. So now the next step would be to make sure you have all of your threads trimmed. So I'm going to go trim up my little threads that I have from my sergings or from my sewings. I'm going to make sure there's no little threads sticking out. And then the last step is to try it on and see how it fits. And that's it. You are done. And I hope they work well and are super cute. So thanks for watching.